You all ready in the back? You good? Good afternoon. I am particularly pleased to be joined by State Police Superintendent Colonel Pat Callahan. I also want to, we've got a bunch of colleagues here, but I also want to point out particularly Dan Kelly, who's the tall guy in the back, who's the Executive Director of the Governor's Office of Recovery and Rebuilding, in case you've got any questions related to some of the topics we want to discuss today. First of all, and most importantly, this is a sacred day. And I just want to open with the reflection that today is the 17th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks that claimed the lives of nearly 3,000 innocent Americans, including nearly 700 of our fellow New Jerseyans. This morning, Tammy and I had the honor to attend the annual commemoration at Ground Zero. And tonight we will join with my home community of Middletown to remember the 37 of our neighbors in a town that's not that big, 37 of our neighbors who lost their lives in that fateful day. We will never forget any of them, nor will we forget the heroes who rushed to the scene to help. And at times, in many cases, by the way, those heroes are suffering health consequences as a result. It is important to remember that at the worst time in American history, we also bore witness to some of the best of America. I was talking to Pat and others before we came out here. A couple of things really got to us this morning, and I know many of you have seen this play out over this ceremony over the past 17 years. Every single name, whether it was Flight 93 or at Ground Zero or at the Pentagon, is spoken aloud. And every few minutes, somebody talks very personally about a loved one. And when you hear about a son or a daughter or a husband or a wife or a mom or a dad or whoever, it's really, it makes, if it's in any way abstract, and I don't know how it could be abstract, it makes it extraordinarily personal. And then secondly, Tammy and I took our time and walked around the base, the reflecting pools of each, the North and the South Tower. We met some extraordinary people. And just reading the names, looking at the teddy bears and the flowers and the, Michigan moms, T-shirts, whatever it might be, is an extraordinary experience. So God bless them all. Now to the topic at hand. Much more mundane at one level, but extremely important at another. And I don't want to put words in Pat's mouth, but this gathering, this brief gathering, is in the category of better be safe than sorry. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Like all of you, we are carefully tracking Hurricane Florence. Our thoughts in particular are certainly with the people of the Carolinas and Virginia, who right now appear to be right in Florence's path. In fact, I'm proud to say, I know Colonel Callahan joins me, to say that we have deployed the members of the New Jersey Task Force 1 Urban Search and Rescue Team to North Carolina to aid in their preparations. And this is an extraordinary group of largely volunteers. They went down in a caravan last evening, Pat?
Yeah, about 1 this morning.
About 1 o'clock this morning. So we're proud to be helping out, and we will stand ready to assist in other ways if called upon, as we were assisted after Hurricane Superstorm Sandy. According to the current forecast, operative word is current, Florence's remnants may not move into our area until the weekend, but we may still experience high winds and heavy rains across the state. These factors may have their greatest impact, probably not surprisingly given where the storm is, on residents in South Jersey, Cape May, Cumberland, and Salem counties especially, and I think you added Atlantic County to that, given that Florence's remnants will be moving into our area again from the south. But these can just as easily impact the rest of our state, since the ground, and we spoke about this around Little Falls and around the Greenbrier section of Brick, the ground in many areas of our state is still saturated from the past month of rains. Starting yesterday, we began regular briefings among multiple state departments, plus the Board of Public Utilities, State Police, Office of Emergency Management. I want to update you on the precautions that we are taking. And when I finish, Colonel Callahan will come up and give a little bit more color on on some of the things I may have missed. President Joe Fiordaliso and the BPU are working closely with and monitoring our electric service providers to ensure they are ready to respond quickly to any storm-related outages. Under Commissioner Diane Gutierrez-Scacchetti, the Department of Transportation and other transportation agencies are ensuring that service stations on the New Jersey Turnpike, the Garden State Parkway, the Atlantic City Expressway are at capacity with available fuel. In addition, they are making sure their equipment, such as generators, chainsaws, trucks, etc., are fueled and ready to go if called upon to keep our roads clear and open for first responders. The Department of Environmental Protection is continuing to monitor coastal conditions and other critical infrastructure. The New Jersey National Guard, under Adjutant General Jamal Beal, has updated its alert rosters and is staging some vehicles and equipment to decrease response times if they are activated. These precautions, among others, are ongoing and will remain so. Even though New Jersey is, again, not expected to bear the brunt of Florence, any storm is a good time for residents to assess their own overall storm readiness. September is, after all, National Preparedness Month, and the theme of this year is Disasters Happen, Prepare Now, and Learn How. One of the first and best steps you can take is to download the New Jersey Hurricane Survival Guide at ready.nj.gov. Again, that's ready.nj.gov. This guide contains checklists and other vital information that will help ensure you and your family are ready in the event of a major storm. Again, I don't want to beat this into the ground, but the guide is available, the Hurricane Survival Guide, at ready.nj.gov, ready.nj.gov. As I said, we'll continue to closely monitor Hurricane Florence, and we'll make additional preparations and announcements as necessary. The Office of Emergency Management, which reports up to the Colonel, will make regular updates at ready.nj.gov, so you also can get updates at the same website, ready.nj.gov, and on their social media channels on Facebook at Ready New Jersey, and on Twitter and Instagram at ReadyNJ. Again, Facebook is Ready New Jersey, Twitter and Instagram is ReadyNJ, and again, the general place to go is ready.nj.gov. Hopefully, we're going to only be dealt a glancing blow. Hopefully, we'll look back and say this is an abundance of caution. But again, we'd rather hope for the best but prepare for the worst. We will be ready, I hope, together for anything Mother Nature throws our way. With that, I wonder if Colonel Callahan could come join us and just fill in a couple of the blanks, and then we'll take a few questions. That's all right?
Thanks, Governor.
Thanks, Colonel.
Appreciate it. I'll just echo the Governor's remarks with regard to preparedness. Over the past several months, we've actually had the entire Cabinet up to the State Emergency Operations Center, including in the middle of July, where the only thing we discussed was hurricane preparedness. We actually walked the entire Cabinet through the Hurricane Decision Support Tool and what decisions need to be made when with regards to when a hurricane of this magnitude would make landfall. I know the Governor spoke about New Jersey Task Force 1, that urban search and rescue team, which is currently on its way to North Carolina. That does not leave New Jersey vulnerable in any way. We still have the same robust capability. I had the opportunity to send them off last night. They are a federally recognized urban search and rescue team, volunteers from all 21 counties, firefighters, police officers, troopers, doctors, engineers, a phenomenal team. And I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention 25 of the members on that team actually reported to Ground Zero 17 years ago today, and I had the opportunity to speak to them last night before they departed. So a phenomenal group of men and women that put others certainly before them. They should probably be arriving in the next hour or so down in Kinston, North Carolina. We've also, the last 2 days, had conference calls with all 21 county emergency management coordinators. They have not activated their emergency operations centers at this point, and we have no resource requests. That open line of communication is something that we do almost every day, certainly every week, because of the partnerships we have with regards to emergency management. We also have a team in lockstep with FEMA at Earl Naval Base, where we have a regional response coordination center that we've been asked to be a part of because New Jersey is viewed as an emergency management assistance compact expert state, whether we've deployed in the past year. If you think about where people from the state police have been, we have been to Houston for Harvey, we've been to California for wildfires, we've been to Hawaii for volcanoes, we've been to Florida for Irma and Maria, we've been to the Virgin Islands, we've been to Puerto Rico. So as I say, just because you have NJ on your right shoulder doesn't mean that you're going to remain in New Jersey. You might find yourself halfway across the country or certainly outside of mainland USA. So that's a proud moment for us when we're asked to help do that. So that center is open right now, where we have members from the State Police Emergency Management Team sitting side by side with FEMA to coordinate resources being deployed not only within state if need be, but certainly out of state. And that's done in coordination with the National Regional Response Center, which is located in Washington, D.C., to coordinate all assets coming from all corners of continental United States. So as the governor said, we prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And I do believe that we're ready should the weather take a turn, but at this juncture, it seems that the track is head-on for the Carolinas. We stand ready to support our neighbors to the south, and certainly ready to support those citizens within New Jersey that may be impacted by this. So, thank you. Governor?
Thanks, Colonel. Please. Take a couple of questions, if that's okay with folks, if there are any.
80 members on that team.
Please.
You used the word remnants.
No, please.
You used the word remnants of the storm. What do you mean by remnants?
Well, at the moment, and we've bonded, by the way, over many things. I never thought we'd bond so deeply over weather. So I'll practice without a license. At the moment, if you look at the models that are predicting the track of Florence, we're not going to get a direct hit as we stand here now. And so it'll be some amount of rain and some amount of high winds, and obviously you get concerned about high tides as well, mixing in that. And it feels, Pat, like that will pass through New Jersey more in the sort of Saturday to Monday range. So remnants, I'm not sure that maybe is the right word, but collateral damage maybe. Again, subject to change, and we hope we won't be back with talking to you about that change, because that will imply that it took a northerly track, which at the moment we're not expecting. Please.
Another topic, New Jersey trains open Friday night, and the trains outside the Hudson Tunnel.
Yep.
Have you been in touch with Amtrak about that, and what is the status of the investigation?
I think the status of the investigation is ongoing, so Amtrak and the feds are still trying to figure out what the heck happened. There were 1,600 people, I think, stranded, if my numbers are right. They have every right to be, incredibly upset about that. It does not appear to have been a New Jersey Transit issue. Again, it looks like it was an Amtrak matter. They're still, I think, in an ongoing investigation trying to figure that out. It does, I hate to, again, beat this to death, it does scream out, we need a new darn tunnel. That tunnel that occurred in, I think, is 110 years old. And so we probably shouldn't be shocked, as upset as I am that it happened. Stuff like that's going to happen when you've got a tunnel that's over 100 years old. And we just desperately need, this morning there were a lot of sidebar conversations among New Jersey. I was largely representing New Jersey today in terms of elected officials, but a lot of conversations with our friends in New York, and a lot of, both frustration and, I still would say on my part, optimism that we'll get there, because it's so darn obvious. And this is yet another data point as to why we need it. Please.
Back to the storm, obviously there are dangers along the coastline in terms of storm surge, rip currents, even if the storm isn't directly impacting that coastline.
Yes.
Do you have any words of advice for people that might think about going to the beach?
Oh, please, God, be careful. I'm going to have Pat come in and give you a little bit more flavor on the riptide and the storm surge piece of this. But please, Lord, I won't repeat the words precisely, but please, may I ask you to get off the beach? Pretty please. Use your head. I mean, that's something that I think both Pat and I and Dan and the rest of us, common sense here, If you think you're going to lose your power, stock up on essentials. If you've got seniors in your house or young kids in particular, if you're near the water, treat that with great care. I think almost in any scenario, we're going to get a churning, surging coastal reality. The only question is how significant that will be. Any color you want to throw in?
I would just add that obviously the coastal advisories that are out there always coincide with the high tides. We have that on our ready.nj.gov site with regards to rip tides, with regard to that coastal advisories, and even on the Back Bay side, the Back Bay flooding. And also you could go, National Weather Service is a phenomenal partner for us, which we're on the phone with them every day as well. So I would just, for those, to the governor's point, we would prefer that people watch the ocean from the comfort of their living room and not be standing on the beach when the seas start to get tumultuous.
Yeah, and the Back Bay reality is another thing that I think folks know, but we should remind them that we have a lot of communities that are essentially on barrier islands, and you've got water realities both in front of you and behind you. Anybody else before we come back to you? Please. Last one. Yeah.
On the event tonight, obviously Middletown holds special significance for you. What does it mean to be attending that as not only a resident of Middletown, but a governor?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time, by the way, and shame on me. I've done a lot of 9/11 commemoration events in New Jersey, and when I was the U.S. ambassador in Germany, where I reminded people that 90 nationalities lost their lives that day. So this is an awful chapter in American history, but 89 other countries lost folks. This is particularly poignant for us because we live there. And it also is a good example of this tragedy, and this day of commemoration knows no political, has no political realities. We're all Americans. And I say that because the Republican mayor and council have invited me, and I was particularly honored by that. We wanted to go in any event, but I think it's a really nice statement to say, you know what, we are first and foremost Americans, in particular in this day. Thank you all. Again, we're not going to keep doing these unless we think we've got a reason to do them. And as you saw in the snowstorms, if we think there's a reason, we won't be bashful about coming back. But in the meantime, I reiterate for you all, but also folks who may be watching, ready.nj.gov is the best place to go. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
You good?